Good morning and welcome to the Los Angeles City Council. Today is October the 25th, 2006, and we are here in John Ferraro Council Chambers, room 340, the third floor of City Hall. We meet here every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. We meet the first Friday of the month out in Van Nuys at our Van Nuys City Hall for residents who are in the San Fernando Valley or live closer there than downtown. And we invite members of the public to come here to testify for general public comment or on items that have been agendized to receive public comment as well. For folks who are not as close to downtown, they can always testify at Van Nuys even when we meet here, and we can see you from our remote facilities out there in Van Nuys City Hall. We also are broadcast live on Channel 35, LA City View, your city channel, which is rebroadcast in the evening, and you can also catch us live streaming video on the internet at our city's homepage at lacity.org, where there is a wealth of other information as well on our city departments and city services to improve your lives. We also have the ability to listen in on council meetings through Council Phone, which is 213-621-CITY, and you can listen to the proceedings of the City Council or any of our committee meetings as well. And we invite folks to call in and to listen along there. We now have 11 members of the City Council, which establishes 2/3 of our membership of 15 and a quorum. So, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Cardenas, Gruel, Hahn, Weezer, Labange, Padilla, Parks, Perry, Reyes, Rosendahl, Smith, Weiss, Weston, Zine, Garcetti. 11 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. First order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
Mr. Zine moves. Mr. Smith seconds. If there's no objection, those minutes will be approved.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Mr. Labange moves, and Mr. Padilla seconds. If there's no objection, those two will be approved.
Mr. President, do you wish to take public comment at this time?
Yes, let's move to public comment now. Our first card is from Zuma Dog. If you can set the clock at 2 minutes. Welcome, Mr. Dog.
Yeah. Welcome, my friends from the EAA, Engineers and Architects. They'll be here to talk about a few things because the whole city would shut down without them because they run the ports of Los Angeles, the airport runways, the CSI crime lab, the chemists who test the water. There'd be no more building construction because they also check the plans for building safety. No more collection of fees because they're in the accounting departments, and I can't run audits for shady corruption because they're in the auditing departments too. So listen to what they have to say because I'd hate for the city to shut down because you won't give them the raises because you're playing politics games. But I'd also like to say that the mayor, yeah, you feel me though? Meanwhile, let's not take up valuable time because the mayor's back in town from Asia, and he'd like to say that we have a gubernatorial race coming up November 7th, and the mayor, I saw him on TV, he supports Phil Angelides, and although Zuma Dog was going to vote for Arnold Schwarzenegger, I think you have to put the city issues first right now because as goes the city, so goes the state. So if Mayor Antonio Villagrosa says vote for Phil Angelides, then I'm going to put my support behind Phil Angelides, and we should vote for Phil Angelides because Mayor Antonio Villagrosa says vote for Phil Angelides because it's good for the city, and I saw him on TV saying that. So we got to do that for the mayor. Now, Proposition R, I'd like to say there's a shady mailer that's being circulated around town, so if you happen to get this shady mailer in the mail, throw it out because they use duplicitous and intentionally deceiving quotes from city officials on that. Isn't it funny that they couldn't even put a mailer on Prop R in a support position without using duplicitous and intentionally deceiving quotes from a city official? And they would just like to say what the person that they used said that they emphatically say no to Prop R, and it says here, It says in the mailer that they urge the voters of Los Angeles to vote no on Prop R. They adamantly oppose Prop R and urge the voters to vote no. And that's who they put in the flyer.
Thank you,
It's
Mr.
so
Dog.
shady. How could you
Our
possibly
next
vote for an
speaker
unethical ethics
is
bill?
Robert Aquino. Robert Aquino. Mr. Dog, if I can ask you to please sit down. Thank you. Good morning.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm Robert Aquino, Engineers and Architects Association, Los Angeles. Thank you for the opportunity to speak this morning. It's been a while since I've come before the council. Since the last meeting, the Engineers and Architects Association has been very fortunate in being granted a strike sanction by the Los Angeles County Federation of Labor. To explain what that means, the unions in the County Federation, over 340 of them, unanimously voted to support EAA's campaign to get fair wages and a fair COLA for our members. This includes all of the city employee unions, every one of them. It includes the longshoremen, the Teamsters, all of the building trades, all of the unions that represent employees that either work for the city or do work in the city. What this means is that those employees, if it becomes necessary for us to go on strike again, will be honoring our picket lines. We don't want to use this powerful tool that is in our hands now. In fact, the people I represent are the people that built this city and continue to maintain it. That's not why we got the sanction. But this process has drug on long enough. We're willing to sit down 24/7 to work out the remaining issues so that MOUs can be entered into between the City of Los Angeles and my organization. But our patience is running out. I'm hoping that cooler heads prevail at the city so that this strike can be averted and that we can go on to the regular business that we all have to perform for the City of Los Angeles. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next speaker for public comment is Linda Ward. And while we're waiting for Ms. Ward, we will also be having our presentations. Since we have today no meeting on Friday due to the passing of Officer Morris, we will be having our presentations today instead of on Friday. So we'll have 3 presentations shortly after public comment. Commissioner Cynthia Ruiz will be here for a special presentation. We also have Councilwoman Hahn with a special presentation, and Councilmember Wesson will be giving a presentation as well. So we'll now like to call on Linda Ward to be our next speaker. After that will be Jerry Silva, and then Dennis Duncan. And after that, we will have Matt Dowd, and after that, Larry Locke and Michael Hunt, Jacqueline Richardson, and Marielena Durazo, and then we'll go out to the Valley for Bruce Darien. So if I could invite Linda Ward forward as our next speaker. Is Linda Ward here? Is Linda Ward is our next speaker? Do we have Linda Ward? I'm sorry, is Linda Ward here? If I can invite Linda Ward. Thank you, Ms. Ward. Mr. Padilla?
President, I was just going to say, even the council members are having trouble hearing you. I don't know if you made any...
I was just making some general announcements for the folks
General
that
announcements,
were
okay.
our viewers at home. So go ahead, Ms. Ward.
Good morning, Honorable Gil Garcetti and members of the City Council.
Good morning.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Linda Ward. This is my 4th time coming before you, the City Council, to ask you to support the resolution. and to do whatever you have to do to make this three strikes law be amended. How many times must we come before you and ask for your support to support the resolution? You are the voices of the people, and the people want a change. They don't want to be wasting their taxpayers' money. It takes a very strong person to stand up and do the right thing. I would also like to add that my son is serving a life sentence in the penitentiary because he has a drug problem. He is not a criminal. He was offered 6 years, he turned it down, and he is now going on 9 years in high confinement, and he should be released from prison. They're holding him because of his prior situation when he was a young man, and he had problems when he was young, following the wrong crowd and so on, and he did things that he should not have done, but he has paid his time. He has paid for his wrong. And because of that, he is still in prison, and I'm just very upset. The law needs to be changed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your testimony. We appreciate that. Jerry Silva is our next speaker, and then Denise Duncan will follow Ms. Silva.
Well, there's a few council people listening and a few not. That's good to know that some of you are listening. Again, this is our fourth time here. We have not asked, I represent families, to amend California's three strikes. In the city of Los Angeles, over 2,000 men and women are serving life sentences for nonviolent offenses. We are paying $35,000 a year for each of them, $4 billion extra for this ridiculous, ridiculous law. All we've ever asked from this city council is your moral support. We have not asked for a penny. We haven't asked you to fix a pothole. We haven't asked for anything but the moral support of the city council. And actually, I guess personally, I would be happy with knowing that, like Mr. Padilla, somebody's paying attention to me. It is so disconcerting to feel that I am exercising my democratic right to speak to my leaders and y'all aren't listening to me. Why can't you sign a resolution to support what the city of Los Angeles residents want? The city of Los Angeles residents voted over 50% in support of Prop 66, and that was after the governor lied to them. Before the governor lied, 70% of the people in this city support reform. All I'm asking from you guys, support reform. Sign a resolution. We support you. We know that these folks, these grieving mothers and wives, they shouldn't be grieving. Their sons and husbands shouldn't be in prison. So please, we'll call you, follow up on this. Do the right thing. Like Jackie said, it's not the right thing to some of you, but to some of you, you know it is. Step up to the plate.
Thank you. Dennis Duncan is our next speaker, and after Dennis Duncan is Matt Dowd.
Good morning, members of the City Council. Again, I'd like to reiterate that this is our fourth time coming here today. And as Jerry did say, it's kind of disconcerting to come here and see that most of the City Council didn't show up to the main public left. And that's a bit difficult to take, since we understand that you are our elected representatives and are supposed to represent the people of Los Angeles. And that's what we're here to do, ask you to do. Represent, be leaders. You're supposed to be leaders. That's why you're in these chairs. You're not in these chairs just to hold office continually year after year. You're supposed to be leaders to make a change. Do the right thing. Support three strikes reform. It's not going to cost the City Council anything but maybe a little bit of a challenge to step up and do what you are supposed to do as elected representatives. The majority of people in Los Angeles voted in favor of three strikes reform for Proposition 66. You should do the same thing. If you're not willing to publicly admit that you're willing to support three strikes reform, then publicly say you're not, and see what kind of whiplash that you get from the people of your city for taking that stand. Do one thing or the other, but do something, please. Thank you.
Matt Dowd is our next speaker.
Thank you very much. Nice to be back on the merry-go-round. It's nice to see Mr. Zine back. But I'm giving my boos of the day today. My first one goes to the mayor, too busy with the school district to solve the problem with the engineers and architects. We've been talking about that for 6 months. So the first boo of the day is to the mayor. Get that organized. We got a guy to run the school. He's called the superintendent. He's appointed by the Board of Education, commissioners, whatever they do, that's what they do. Leave them to do it. Second boo of the day goes to the NFL. We're talking about bringing the NFL here. Whatever happened to free Monday night football? Like, America's finished. There's no free-to-air football, NFL on a Monday night. I wanted to watch the Giants. What's with that? They want to get more money out of everybody. It should be free on a Monday night. Boo to the NFL. My next boo is to the judges. They're getting affected by special interests now. Venice Beach. That's what they're doing. The money's going into the judges now, and they're capriciously abusing their power. They don't even want to rule on the Michael Hunt. You know, he's been banished from a state park, from a beach. And the judge went and looked at it all. He won't even rule on it. So the boo of the day goes to the special interests. The Sidewalk Cafe, they get a big boo. Venice Beach, they're in here saying how they care about what happens on the boardwalk. They only care about what happens inside their cafe. So let's get it organized.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Michael Hunt.
Well, I was here yesterday. Herb Weston, I guess you really look good on Rosa Parks Day, huh? You can't protect our First Amendment
Would you
rights.
please
and you
address
look
the council as a
well,
whole,
the council.
please? Thank you.
Well, first with you, Eric, if you want to go like that.
No,
I know
just the
your
entire
parents probably
council
owned
as a body,
slaves,
please.
so that's
Sir,
what the whole thing's about.
will you
You can't
please address
protect
the
our First
council?
Amendment right as the president of this committee. Herb Weston, I guess you look really good, huh?
I will
Excuse
warn you
me.
a second time. Please address under the rules of decorum the council
well,
at large.
Let me address all
Thank
the
you.
council. Well, the colleague from the 10th district looked really good. Is that proper? Huh? You know, but see, the whole thing is that the whole thing is that you can't protect our First Amendment rights. You take checks from your parents. Your girlfriend pays for everything that you do. Out of order. This is my public comment.
Hold on,
this is my
colleagues.
2 minutes.
City Attorney,
He,
please
all
opine. I want to be very clear with colleagues what can and can't be done. There's things that can be said in here that are going to raise people's ire. I want to be clear about what our rules of decorum that we worked very carefully on as a basis for, we'll get your time back, sir, what our rules of decorum are as a basis for whether somebody can stay in this meeting or not. Mr. City Attorney, and if you can stop the clock, we'll add the seconds back as well.
Rule 12 states, among other things, that all remarks shall be addressed to the council as a whole, not to any single member thereof. He has been warned on that. Also, persons addressing the council shall not make personal, impertinent, unduly repetitive, slanderous, or profane remarks to council, and he has been warned on that.
And just to cite the slander, you, for instance, said that my ancestors owned slaves. As Jews and Mexicans, I can assure you they did not, sir. And you need to watch what you're saying. That is a warning that you have violated. So I would like to go forward and ask Jacqueline Richardson to come forward if you cannot come and address under our rules of decorum. Sir, if you cannot, stick by those rules, and we've given you one warning today, but if you do it again, you will no longer be able to speak, and Jacqueline Richardson will be our next speaker. Yes, Mr. Cardenas.
Mr. President, point of clarification to the City Attorney. What you just read, City Attorney, as far as the the parameters in which someone can speak in these chambers addressing this council, does it delineate whether or not it's the person's opinion or not?
No, there's no difference.
The point is, Mr. City Attorney, if a person is making statements, regardless of whether the person considers it their opinion or not, there are parameters of which those statements cannot go beyond, correct?
Actually, it has to be framed in terms of conduct rather than content of what he's saying. His conduct so far is that he is disobeying a warning from the council president. By disobeying that and by causing a disruption, his conduct can be controlled, and he could be asked to correct his conduct, and if he doesn't, then he could be removed. There's a fine line between controlling the content of what he's saying and the conduct, but by him so far refusing twice a warning from the council president does have a right to order him to be removed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else on this? Mr. Weiss? So we've been clear on that three-part process, just so folks get 2 warnings. That has to be daily, unfortunately, but that's what we've worked on. But yes, anything else? Mr. Weiss?
No, I'm not so sure about that. I would just note, for the record, that when someone comes in and on an almost daily basis is getting warning after warning after warning, I actually don't think that a court is going to require you to give someone 3 or 4 chances every single day when they're interrupting a public meeting. I just don't think a court wants the government to run itself that way. And so I think this gentleman has been warned far in excess of what any court is going to require.
Okay. Thank you. If you'd like to continue, we will look into that and make sure we can get clarification. Go ahead.
Can I get my input with the city attorney,
You now have
please?
1 minute and 20 seconds left. It is not a debate or dialogue. We're here for public comment.
Okay,
Please go ahead.
so I can address everybody regarding how I feel, what my opinion is, correct? My opinion is that people in this made a real big fool of themselves yesterday addressing the Rosa Parks, because I am the real Rosa Parks. I am the real Dr. King. Anytime that you guys want to debate in your neighborhood what really takes place, I come down here because I've been discriminated against at a state park and where I had rights. First Amendment rights never change. It never, ever changed. That's the bottom line. You guys haven't protected us in no way, no fashion, in no form.
Our next speaker is Jacqueline Richardson. Jacqueline Richardson. Like to come forward, Ms. Richardson, and then Maria Elena Durazo will be our next speaker after that.
Good morning, Jacqueline Richardson here.
That's how angry we are.
This is in regard to the Russian Jewish people coming through the budget effort. It may not be true that the Jewish Russian people are coming here through the Iraqi war budget. I would like to ask the Jewish people if they can, if they will, get funding for their people from another place other than through the war budget if they are doing this. The Jewish people are exceptionally creative and can get the money in a way that is fair and just for everyone concerned. If the Jewish people are not getting the money through the war effort, where's the money coming from? I have one article from September 2006 that shows the Army Corps of Engineers made a mistake in listing one of their budget numbers. It listed $362 million for future contracts for rebuilding Iraq. The money hadn't been spent yet, and the auditor pointed out that this listing was incorrect because it was for something in the future, not for something that had already been done. I wonder if this had anything to do with the Jewish funding. It may not have.
Thank you. I'd like to pause our presentations here to recognize the mayor of the city of Los Angeles. Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa has joined us in council chambers with a very special guest, and I'd like to recognize him at this time for an introduction of our guest. Mayor Villaraigosa. Let's welcome the mayor.
Council President, members of the council, thank you for allowing me to come and visit for a few moments. I'm here to welcome and thank Rabbi Amar Rishon LeZion for visiting the city of Los Angeles. And I said that I am very fortunate because I used to serve with this body, so whenever I come back, I feel like I'm at home. That's my friend over there. I also want to welcome Council General Ehud Denoch and Rabbi David Toledano of the Syrian Sephardic Synagogue, Megan David. Los Angeles is home to some 70,000 Sephardic Jews, and we have the largest, or the second largest Sephardic population after New York City, with some 20 Sephardic synagogues here. And Rabbi Amar would be interested in his travel experiences to be able to enjoy meeting many of the people of these synagogues. And he said he has an interesting concept, because I asked him if he was going to be visiting other cities throughout the country on this visit. He focuses on one city. He meets with as many of the leaders in that city as possible, so that he can really get as much from his visit as possible. I shared with the Rabbi Amar that we have the largest Israeli population outside of Israel here in Los Angeles, second largest Jewish population, and that our countries have a mutual heritage as immigrant nations and is committed to peace and security for the state of Israel. We value tolerance and free expression, and of course, we value democracy as well. I want to give a few moments to Jack Weiss, my travel companion. And where's Dennis Zine? By the way, I want you to know, everybody, he's no longer council member Zine. He's now Vice Mayor Zine. So designated in China, Korea, and Japan. You're going to have to sort that out with your council colleagues, but and with the council president. But what can I say? I'd like to, before I call Council Member Weiss up, I'd like to ask him to join me, though, and present the certificate of welcome to Rabbi Shlomo Moshe Amar, the Chief Sephardic Rabbi of Israel. On behalf of the people of the city of Los Angeles, we wish you best wishes and warm regards for our continued friendship. Let me put you in the middle. You in the middle. There you go. And now, Councilmember Weiss.
Thank you, Mayor, for honoring Rabbi Amar by visiting with him and for ensuring that he comes to this council today. Let me just say that this is a very historic visit by Rabbi Amar that not just Sephardic Jews, but all Jews in Los Angeles have been looking forward to. And we are very, very grateful to the Rabbi for the good work that he does, not just in Israel, but with the Jewish community around the world. And it means a great deal to us, Rabbi, that you would visit with us here in Los Angeles. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for noting that I was one of your travel companions overseas a week or two ago. It's my sincere hope that sometime the next year you will be my travel companion in Eretz Israel.
Thank you very much, Mr. Weiss. And on behalf of the entire council, Rabbi Amar, we are blessed to have you here today. We want to thank you for being here in the city of Los Angeles. Los Angeles is one of the great cities of many peoples, but it is one of the great Jewish cities of the world. And certainly your presence here is a blessing upon these chambers and upon the city. So thank you for being here.
תודה רבה לכל חברי העירייה, ובפרט לראש העיר היקר, על הקבלת פנים הלבבית והחמה במיוחד. ואני רוצה להודות לכם על ההרגשה הטובה שאתם יודעים לתת לכל העדות, לכל העמים, על השלווה המיוחדת שיש בעיר הנפלאה שלכם. השם יברך אתכם וינחה אתכם להוביל את העיר על מי מנוחות באהבה ושלום וידידות. אמן ואמן.
I would like to thank all of you and especially the mayor for welcoming me to this city, and I feel privileged and honored to be here with you. And even though I'm going around the world, I want you to know that the warmth and the special welcome of Los Angeles is tremendously unique in my heart, and I want to thank you for it, and I want to bless you, that may God will bless you with all your heart's wishes to come through, and you should continue to create unity, peace, and love to all nations in Los Angeles.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. Councilmember Weiss as well. Marila Durazo is our next public speaker. I'm going to ask folks in chambers to please be in order. And is Maria Elena Durazo here? If not, let's go out to Van Nuys for our next public speaker then. Bruce Darien, thank you for your patience. Mr. Darien, you are our next speaker. You have 2 minutes.
Yes, I have something that's filed in the United States Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit from Pasternak, and Patton. Defendants David J. Pasternak, State Court Receiver, and Pasternak, and Patton, the receiver law firm, hereby submits their opposition to plaintiff Bruce Darien's notice of motion and motion to vacate the district court's interlocutory certification. The nightmare continues. This motion is the third by plaintiff Bruce Darien, contending that the district court erred in granting the receiver and Pasternak, and Patton's motion for certification of partial final judgment. Already, the district court has heard and denied 2 motions by Darien seeking the same relief. Now, Darien makes a motion in this court, essentially another appeal on top of an appeal already filed by Darien and pending in this court seeking the same relief. Darien claims that the district court erred in granting the receiver and his firm's motion for certification of partial final judgment because those parties committed fraud. But Darien's fraud claims are neither newly discovered nor newly prosecuted nor meritorious. Indeed, Darien fully litigated and he lost his fraud claims against the receiver and Pasternak, and Patton in the California State Court when he contested the receiver's state court report, including his unsuccessful appeal of the court's order approving that report. He should not be allowed to relitigate old state court claims under this court under the guise of this frivolous motion. If Darien had a strategy of tying up the receiver in a myriad of lawsuits, appeals, motions, and assorted legal maneuvers intended to deplete the assets of the receivership estate, assets to which Darien is not entitled, in the course of litigation, he would appear to be succeeding. Almost certainly, when the proceedings in the district court are final, Darien will appeal again. At this rate, the receivership estate may well run out of funds to distribute on account of the receiver's necessary defense against Darien's meritless claims. This seems manifestly unfair. This motion is baseless and it should be denied. The old bromide has been that everyone is entitled to his or her day in court. Darien has had many days. Everywhere he has litigated, he has lost. This nightmare should come to an end. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Darien. Our final speaker for public comment, general public comment, is Donna Doherty. Would you like to come forward, Ms. Doherty? And you'll have 2 minutes to address the City Council as well. While Ms. Doherty is coming up, colleagues, we, because of the passing of our Los Angeles police officer, Officer Doris, we will be having the funeral this Friday at the Cathedral. Again, it's starting at 9:30, and we have canceled council to be able to commemorate his passing. As such, we will have a few presentations here in council following general public comment. So those will be from Commissioner Ruiz, council members Hahn and Wesson. Welcome, Ms. Doherty.
Thank you very much. My name is Donna Doherty. I'm from Griffith Observatory Access Initiative. And I hate to tell you all, I'm not going to stop just because the observatory is opening on the 3rd of November. It's opening without any access at the front 4 doors, which is now called the north entrance. And actually, it's interesting what has taken place in the last few weeks after a meeting with the Recreation and Parks Commission, after which I told the general manager that there was a sign still on the front lawn which indicated the disabled would go in the 1 door on the back side of the west wing. That's been changed. And now it just has a little mark for the disabled and it says west entrance. Excuse me, how do you put an expected 8,000 people a day in 1 door on the back side of a wing, instead of allowing them to go in the front 4 doors as they should have been able to do? We need universal design here, and that simply means we need stairs and we also need ramps or sloping walkways. And if after 15 years of paying 2 different architectural firms we can't come up with, we're going to try and find our own architects, and I'm told it will take us 2 years. But we'll continue. This is wrong. We're putting on the wrong face for the world. You just said something yourselves about this is one of the greatest cities in the world. Why are we reaching out to have other people come and visit us when all these other cities are way ahead of us with universal design, with everything to make it comfortable and easy for everybody? We've got 78 million baby boomers coming up, twice that number in 10 years. We have all the people with children in strollers. This is not what they harped on the 11th of July to you, ADA, Americans with Disabilities Act. This is everybody. So please help us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Doherty. I'd like to recognize next for special presentation, Commissioner and President of the Board of Public Works, Cynthia Ruiz. Good morning.
Good morning. And I am here, I'm happy to be here this morning, and I'm here on behalf of Mayor Villaraigosa to announce that the month of November has been declared American Indian Heritage Month. And I'm proud to stand here today to celebrate American Indian Heritage Month for the month of November. And I, like many Angelenos, come from blended cultures. Yes, I'm Latina, but I'm also American Indian. I'm part of the American Indian of the Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma. In 1876, my grandmother was born into the Cherokee tribe on Indian land. In 1907, that land became Oklahoma. My tribe was not originally from Oklahoma, but they ended up there through what's known as in history as the Trail of Tears. In the United States, there's over 500 American Indian tribes. There's both tribal members that live on the reservation and in urban settings. In 1976, Mayor Bradley and Supervisor Kenny Hahn established the Los Angeles City and County American Indian Commission. That Indian Commission just celebrated their 30-year anniversary, and it's currently chaired by Dwayne Champagne, who is a professor at UCLA. I'm proud to say that my mom served on the American Indian Commission for almost 20 years. Now, my roots have taught me that the environment is very important, and through my roots I've learned that basically to become an environmentalist, and I'm very proud of that. This Friday, the mayor will host a reception for the American Indian community at 11:30 on the steps of City Hall on Spring Street, and I would like to extend an invitation for everyone to come and celebrate. And I'd also like to give special thanks to Council Member Perry, who attended the American Indian Commission celebration along with Council Member Padilla. So I'm here to basically just say that I'm proud to say that November is American Indian Heritage Month.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. We appreciate the presentation, and we look forward to celebrating the month with you. And next for a special presentation, I'd like to welcome Councilmember Janice Hahn forward to make a presentation at this time. Councilmember Labange? I think Ms. Hahn would like a word with you.
I don't know. Where, is it coming? Oh, it's not for me.
It is coming. All right.
We can do ad lib. Councilmember Labange, would you like to come here? Councilmember Rosendahl, you want to stand up here with us? Okay, that's okay. You know, every once in a while, I think one of our own goes above and beyond the call of just doing our job for our district and for our city. And I think that one of us is Tom Labange. And, you know, Tom Labange has been such a big symbol of Los Angeles. No one loves Los Angeles more than Tom Labange, and there's no bigger symbol of Los Angeles than our own beautiful Griffith Observatory. And I wanted to take this day, and I know you will all join with me in really honoring and thanking Tom for everything he has done to restore the Griffith Observatory, but more than restore it. It is now more beautiful and more wonderful and more interactive and more of a tourist attraction than it has ever been. And it started when Tom was a staff member to Council President John Ferraro. In fact, he was with Ferraro when they advocated for Prop A funding in front of the Board of Supervisors to restore our Griffith Observatory. When he became council member in 2001, he has been tirelessly working on getting funds, working with staff, working with architects to really make this the beautiful observatory as it is going to be open to the public soon. I will never forget, Tom's big, he's lobbied state, local, federal people for funding for this observatory. I will never forget. There we were at our own cathedral at a very solemn funeral right here in. It was a dedication. In Los Angeles. Was it the dedication? I thought it was a funeral. Okay, it was the dedication of the cathedral. I don't know. I think you would have done it at a funeral. It was the dedication of the cathedral. Governor Gray Davis was there, and Gray Davis, who began to leave through a back exit. And Tom, where he was sitting, I think you were sitting on the front row on the side of the cathedral, Tom literally leapt over the pews in the cathedral to chase the governor down. I'm surprised the security guards didn't get you, to beg him in person for the $6 million that would come from the state government for restoring this Griffith Observatory. It was a great moment for me to see that you would stop at nothing. You had no shame when it came to fighting for your beautiful observatory. And then I think one of the things I really wanted to honor Tom for today, besides bringing this beautiful symbol back to Los Angeles, you know, it hasn't really officially opened to the public. November 3rd, it will be open to the public. October 29th, the Sunday night, there'll be a gala event celebrating the opening. But before it was even open to the public, Tom and his staff did something that I think they probably at times thought it wasn't going to happen, it was insurmountable. I don't think all the city departments were all that thrilled about doing it. But he was committed that each of us in our council districts could invite 200 of our closest friends and constituents to take buses from our individual districts and be able to take a sneak preview of this beautiful observatory. And I will tell you, the constituents in my district that got to go up there before it was open to the public for this sneak preview have never forgotten it. They have written me thank you notes. They have stopped me in Starbucks. They've seen me at community meetings and said, thank you for letting us come up and see that observatory. They are now telling their friends and family, and I think that was one of the greatest marketing tools you could have done, was to invite people from all over Los Angeles free of charge to get a sneak preview of this observatory. So we have a resolution here, and I'll let you say a few words, Bill. But this official resolution says a lot of things. But it says, today we honor you with this resolution, and it reads, now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Los Angeles recognizes Councilmember Tom LaBonge for being the greatest of angels in the City of Angels, for helping to bring back the Griffith Observatory to the people of Los Angeles and the world. Thank you, Tom, for all you've done.
Thank you very much. That's very sweet of you. You surprised me.
I tried.
Tom mentioned he was surprised. I was kind of holding him on the side there. He wanted to know what the next presentation was for. He didn't know it was for him. And I'm here just symbolically for the rest of my colleagues standing right next to you, and to tell you that you are a star, and that observatory looks at the stars. And so when we look at the stars, one of the main stars around this horseshoe is Tom LaBonge. I can tell you that personally, I would not be standing here as a council member if it wasn't for Tom LaBonge, who was the first elected official to say to me, run for office, Rosendahl. We need people with big hearts like you. Well, you have the biggest heart of the city, and you taught me another lesson. Each one of us has a mic. 15 mics representing 250,000 people, and we shouldn't be afraid to use it at any time. It's a great honor and privilege to be standing next to you, Tom. God bless you for all you do for all of us. Thank you.
Very much. Thank you.
Councilwoman Gruhl.
Thank you. I just want to add, a lot's been said, and Janice, what a great idea to honor Tom. And you're right, it was pretty amazing to see all of those kids, community leaders up there. I've gotten the same types of letters saying thank you, and I tell them all it was Tom LaBonge who put this all together, and his staff. I have to. You mentioned them, Janice, but they were up there every single night, and it would not have happened without Tom's leadership and commitment. And when you see the kids' faces, even my son's, as you know, my screensaver has my son now picture in front of the Griffith Observatory. And so I just want to say congratulations, Tom, well deserved, and you're going to celebrate for a long time. You can say to yourself, I made that happen. I made it happen for the residents of Los Angeles and people from all over the world. So congratulations, Tom, well deserved.
Thank you very much, Wendy.
Mr. Zine and then Mr. Reyes.
Tom, I want to join the choir in acknowledging you for that. I had an opportunity to go up there and see it, and I know that you are Mr. LA. It was interesting when we were over in Asia, we met with some of the sister city folks, and I said, I'm a good friend of Tom LaBonge, and it was a round of applause. They didn't know about the observatory, but if they did, I'm sure they'd be coming over and visiting it. But the ambassadorship that you have, not only for Los Angeles, but throughout the world, is to be commended. And to the folks that have been able to go up there and see it, I remember going up there as a child, going up there as a teenager, and what they have done to improve it is phenomenal. But I know that your passion and love for Los Angeles, I think on your phone message you say, continue to love LA.
That's right.
Continue to enjoy LA.
And enjoy and love.
And enjoy and love LA. Well, I knew it was something like that, but love LA, Tom LaBonge. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Reyes.
Yeah. I really believe John Ferraro is smiling right now.
Oh, yes.
You must be really proud of all your accomplishments. Tom, last night I was watching Rebel Without a Cause, James Dean. There's a big scene on the observatory, and I was thinking, God, that was probably in the 1950s, early 50s. 55,
Before
see?
you were born.
So before I was born, you're right, Janice. Thank you. But I say congratulations. I think this is an example. As a matter of fact, I know this is an example of institutional knowledge and experience is able to generate great products, great masterpieces, but more importantly, approach solutions to problems in a very complex environment like Los Angeles. And to be able to deal with the feds, the state, the county, and all the different public agencies, the PUC, it does take experience and knowledge to do that. So congratulations for all your hard work.
Thank you very much,
Mr. Huizar.
Thank you. And Tom, I apologize. I came on board this past December, and I sat between you and Janice. Now I am the messenger between you two, and I love to hear everything you guys are talking about. But no, seriously, Tom, I wanted to thank you for the love you have for Los Angeles. I was in Nagoya, our sister city, just last week, and the elected officials and some community members there remembered you for your powerful speech on Los Angeles, for the street sign you put up at the Los Angeles Park and also for some dancing and singing you did. But that shows, even in Nagoya, Japan, that you are one of Los Angeles' biggest cheerleaders and ambassadors. So thank you for all you've done, and I look forward to learning from you as I sit next to you and continue to pass notes between you and Janice. Thank you so much, Tom, and I look forward to serving with you.
Thank you very much.
Tom, I wish I had a loaf of pumpkin bread for you today. If I had known, I would have brought it for you. But you're an angel in the city of angels, and with that, let's hear from the great Tom LaBonge.
Oh, no, thank you very much, Mr. Garcetti. Members, I'd like to ask my staff, especially my Chief Deputy Renee Weitzer, who worked with John Ferraro, and my very special deputy, Patty Malone. Please come join us here, and young G and Jane and Demina and Dorothy come over. It's a team effort, but my team started with my parents and my brothers and growing up in Silver Lake, and looking at the observatory and all that great place that it is. And then the great team from my parents came and the opportunity to work here at City Hall. Tom Bradley's Youth Council, Councilwoman Peggy Stevenson, the great John Ferraro, who this chamber is named for. And I will tell you, there was a moment there when we were trying to get this building done in 1992 that we had to go up to the Board of Supervisors, because the truth of the matter is, and why there should be an extension of term limits, is the Board of Supervisors have 12 years. They're going to beat the city every time. And we had to go up there and try to fight to make sure the city got its place in that bond issue, and we certainly did, which started at $93 million. And what was interesting about the $93 million, and when we had all these open houses, a child said, did anybody figure out 93 million miles is 93 million miles to the sun? Which is quite interesting. This building renovation and expansion was $93 million. And it does, the distance to the sun is $93 million. Did you know that, Ms. Hahn? I did not know that, but now we know it, but a child told us that, and that's the great thing. And what really motivated me, and a lesson for all of us, is when I got elected here, that was right in the aftermath of 9/11, and this Grand City Hall of Los Angeles, which is on the greatest resolutions of any government body here, we couldn't celebrate it because of 9/11. We spent $300 million to renovate this Grand City Hall, that when they built this building, which was 28 stories high, it was a symbol that Los Angeles is going to be a great city, and it is a great city. And I didn't want that to happen again with the observatory, so I thought it was so important to share it, and it was so great to meet so many of your constituents from around the city, and the very many great staff people who help coordinate that in buses. And there's a couple of council districts that need to get their special seniors up there, and the time coming as we open this. But it is the greatest of all public spaces. And I know our very own Donna Doherty came up 3 or 4 times on our buses to inspect and suggest and correct, and I'm still waiting for the letter from Donna to help me move ahead to try to meet all the needs that need to be met there. But I'm just so thankful for you, Ms. Hahn, for being the daughter of one of the greatest public servants in the history of all government, in the history of democracy, in Kenny Hahn, because my first job was at 1803 South Vermont. I started getting Social Security when Bernard Parks first joined the LAPD in 1965, so a year after he first joined. I'm sorry, Bernard. Working in a print shop, and Alan Wright, the printer, told me there's a guy named Kenny Hahn, and he helps people. And he's got a guy named Marlowe, who's his deputy, who comes out. And all that kind of goes together, so it's amazing how all this happens together. You have a chance, one chance. I love Herb Wesson because he's an inspector now in Griffith Park, and he makes sure that everything goes well in Griffith Park, which is so important. But all of us have an opportunity to share in this great building, and I know some of you will be able to join us with the mayor and the consular corps. Some of you will join us with the civic event that is this Sunday, or the grand opening. But this is very nice, and what is so nice is that there's one opportunity every so often, and this is it. So Jane's going to tell me to be quiet. I'm going to say Renee Weitzer. Give Renee a big hand for all the work she does as Chief One.
Thank you.
And Patty Malone did all the work as my deputy. She was a mother, a beautiful mother of 2, and still is. And there was a guy who was illegally crossing in a street one day, and I told him he should cross in the crosswalk for the safety of the intersections. And the guy came up and he did the thing that the French guy did to the Italian. You know, and that headbutt thing, it was not a headbutt, but he did a thing. Patty caught my back. You like that, Dennis? So I said, this is the kind of deputy I want to work for me.
but she did a great job coordinating with all your offices. And Young-Ji Kimmich.
Tom, your staff has reminded me that your time is up.
And Jane Galbraith. No, time's not up. I'm one of 15. I got a
They're the one-
microphone.
they're the
Thank you
one.
very much.
Next, we have for presentation, Councilmember Herb Wesson to make a special presentation. Congratulations, Mr. Labange, and thank you for everything you've done for the observatory.
Everybody get up here. Get up here, Patty.
Get up by me, get up by me.
Thank you. But I'm surprised there, Janice. You got me.
Good, good. One more. Okay, good job. Thank you. Now it's time for the dog.
Yeah. Huh?
Dog.
Time for the dog.
Say hello to Bruiser.
Dogs love dogs.
Thank you, Mr. President and members. Today is our first Adopt a Pet Wednesday. Okay, usually we do this on Friday. And I have with me today Bruiser, who's a male Doxy mix. Is neutered, has all his shots, microchipped, 2 years old, looking for a home. Please call 888-452-7381, and then you could take Bruiser home. He's only 2 years old, great dog. I think we have some takers in the building. And those of you that are watching on television, if you call and Bruiser has already been adopted, don't despair. We have shelters throughout the city and hundreds of fine companion animals like Bruiser. So please, somebody call, make Bruiser part of their family. Call 888-452-7381. Bruiser, you have anything you want to say? Bruiser wants to thank Councilmember Tom Labange for all of the work that you've done. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wesson. With that, let's run through the agenda. Next order of business, please.
On the regular agenda, items 1 and 2 are street vacation items, notice for public hearing. Council should instruct the city engineer to proceed.
All right, we'll open and close the public hearings on those. Anybody wishing to call them special? If not, let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
That is approved. Next item.
Items 3 through 17 are items for which public hearings have been held. Item 3 is a commission appointment. Do you wish to hold that on the desk?
Yes, let's hold the commission appointment on the desk, please.
And there has been an amending motion circulated on item number 7.
Okay. Colleagues, we have a motion on item number 7 that has been circulated. Any specials? I will call 16 special. Any other specials that folks would like to call? Yes, Ms. Gruhl?
On item number 8, I'd like us to adopt the Transportation Committee report and to have the report backs be in 60 days.
Okay. So if there's no objection to that, we'll move that. Any other specials, colleagues? If not, on the balance, let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
That is approved. Next items, please.
Items 18 through 54 are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration, and substitute motions have been circulated on items 51, 52, and 53.
Okay.
And there are cards on a number of items.
Which ones do we have cards on? Let's call those special.
Cards on 38, 42, 44, 46, 47, 49, 50, and 53.
Okay, we will call those specials for card from the public. With the others, we will open and close the public hearing. Any specials, colleagues? Yes, Mr. Parks?
A special on 51, 52, and 53, and we could pull them together because we're just asking for public support and renewing those rewards.
Okay, Mr. Parks, we'll call 51 and 52. We had 53 called special for card already. Any other special items, colleagues?
Surprise.
Anybody else? Seeing none, let's open the roll on the balance, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Those are approved. Next items, please.
Items 55 through 57 are the closed session items. Do you wish to hold those on the desk?
Yes, let's hold those on the desk, please.
On the continuation agenda, item 58 is an item for which public hearing has been held, and a substitute motion has been circulated on that item.
Anybody wishing to call 58 special? Mr. Parks?
Move the substitute motion on 58, was it 58A?
Okay, we'll move that. If there's no objection, let's open the roll on 58, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
That is approved. All right. Let's return back to, is that all that we have on the
That
agenda?
would be the items called special, and that would take you back to item 3, which is the commission appointment
Okay.
of Ms. Consuela Mackey to the Commission on Disability.
Okay. I'd like to ask Ms. Mackey to come forward to join us here at the center table, and want to thank her for putting herself forward for public service. No, right here at the table. You can just come forward, right here. Want to thank you for offering yourself for public service to the people of Los Angeles. It is impressive that you would be willing to do so, and we look forward to your service. This went through Personnel Committee, is that right, Mr. Zine?
This went to the Arts Parks Committee.
Arts Parks, okay. I'll recognize Mr. Zine, though, who has pressed his button to say a couple words.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to offer my recommendation. I know Consuela Mack and all the wonderful work she does. I first saw you on television. Extreme Makeover for the home, right?
Yes, sir.
And all the wonderful people that you've taken care of. And then we had a grand opening of Ventura Boulevard in Tampa, where you do additional outreach for disabled. You've got your heart and soul in helping people. And
Thank you.
when I first saw it on television, I said, what a sweet lady. And then the grand opening, and I forgot the name of the center.
Operation Confidence.
Operation Confidence.
Yes, sir.
And all the folks that were involved in that, and then to see you here nominated as a commissioner, no one could have the qualifications that you have because your heart and soul in helping people. It's wonderful.
Thank you.
So the highest recommendation. And it's nice to see a commissioner that know the wonderful work you've already done, to be acknowledged for that, and to serve on a commission so you can help other individuals with disabilities in the city of Los Angeles. So I know you'll do well in that endeavor.
Thank you so much.
It's always good to
Such
see
an
that
honor.
smile of you.
Thank you,
Consuela.
sir.
Thank you,
I'm
Mr.
so
Zine.
touched.
I'd like to recognize Mr. Parks, and then our chair of the Arts Parks Committee,
Thank you,
Mr.
Chair, I would just like to welcome Consuela to the commission. She has done such a wonderful job in the community for years on a number of nonprofits dealing primarily with youth. She's involved in so many aspects of the city, and it makes no difference what council district. If she finds a need, she's there. And so I just wanted to tell her we really appreciate her putting herself out for this. I know she's busy, but yet she's going to take the time. And this is a very important commission, and a number of people that receive those services are generally people that believe that they've been left behind or ignored. And with your level of activism and energy, you will bring that to the forefront on a variety of things that are important to the city. So thank you very
so
much.
much. Thank you. Such an honor.
Mr. Labange, our chair of our Arts Parks Committee.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. We had the great opportunity for Ms. Mackey to come before committee this morning, express her passion, and I'd like to ask you, and I was out of the room for a moment, if you'd like to express your passion at this time, how you will serve the city well in this very important role as nominated by Mayor Villaraigosa.
Thank you. It's such an honor to be here today. From the time that I received the phone call several weeks ago from the mayor's office until being here today before members of council, it's been a whirlwind. It's been a whirlwind of excitement and gratitude, and I'm very humble. I had no idea what I was coming to do, and I have had no briefing, so if I quiver a little bit, it's because I'm not a good public speaker, nor do I know what I'm doing up here, other than that I'm so thankful to all of you. And I want to share years and years and years ago how it all started. And it's primarily I was playing ball and thought I was somewhat of an athlete 26 years ago. Jumped up and came down and broke my foot. And it humbled me where after I stopped whining, as I shared with Councilman LeBlanc, I wanted to do something to give back, and that's what started Operation Confidence. I was able to see through the eyes of a person with a disability, even for a limited time, that society could care less. Doors at that time slammed in your face, and there were no curb cuts, and I felt that it was just a wonderful opportunity for us to do something, and that started our organization, Operation Confidence, who at that time was the first to provide a program for people with disabilities in dressing for success. So thank you, sir, and I'm quite honored, and I just want all of you to know I've had an opportunity of working with a lot of the council members, Councilwoman Hahn, Parks, Zine, Perry, and I've been in Councilman Weiss' district for over 30 years when Supervisor Zev was councilman at that time. So for all of you, I want to thank you so much for this opportunity, and I'll work hard to make you proud.
10 seconds.
Thank you.
Okay. This is a great nominee, so we thank you for your service to the city of Los Angeles. I ask for an aye vote.
Thank you. Ms. Han.
Thank you. I certainly rise to support you, and we've worked together.
Yes, we have.
Way back.
Yeah. And
Way
I
back.
love your dad. He was my best friend.
I know, and I'm completely confident that you'll be a great commissioner.
Thank
One of the
you.
things I think Donna Doherty would want us to bring to your attention, she has come to our council meeting nearly every week for as long as I can remember to talk about the access to our new Griffith Observatory. So
Yes.
we would love it if you would continue to take a look at that issue.
I shall.
See if we can work on some solutions that clearly will make our disabled community feel as if they have equal access to this beautiful symbol of Los Angeles.
Thank you. I will do that.
Thank you. I'm happy to support your appointment.
Thank you, Ms. Han. And thank you, colleagues. Let's open the roll on the nomination then. Close the roll and tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Congratulations, Commissioner. Welcome
Thank
aboard.
you.
A round of
Bye-bye.
applause for our Commissioner.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Item 16 was called special by Councilmember Garcetti.
I'd like to, if there's no objection, open public hearing for a card from Mr. McQuiston. And I do have an amendment to offer as well, in line, I believe, with what Mr. McQuiston will be speaking on today. Mr. McQuiston, do you want me to make the amendment first, or do you want to
Yes.
go ahead?
Would
Okay.
you make the amendment
Sure.
first?
My recommendation is to modify the motion to ask Bureau of Engineering in conjunction with Department of Transportation to evaluate the viability of move of a nearby bus stop to a location in front of this housing project, including the viability of a curb cut. And I'll give that language to the clerk. Okay. Mr. McQuiston? Oh, and just while you're coming up, the city attorney is just going to read our standard language on public comment.
Thank you, Mr. President. To
Hold on one
further
second.
the orderly process of the meeting in a timely manner and thus avoid the possible loss of a quorum, if a member of the public wishes to speak on more than one item, he or she shall limit his or her remarks to a total of 6 minutes per meeting unless council grants additional time by majority vote. A member of the public may allocate time between items in at least 1-minute increments. Members of the public speaking on a particular item shall constrain their remarks to that item or be ruled out of order.
Thank you. Mr. McQuiston.
Jim McQuiston, East Hollywood Community Association, and also a member of the Child Safety Task Force Committee. This is a matter of safety. I am pleased that our council member has made an amendment to this. We think that this probably will solve the problem. At the corner of Alexandria and Santa Monica, there have been many traffic accidents because the street is narrow. There's lots of traffic, there's lots of pedestrian traffic, and there's small children. And we think that the bus stop should be moved back slightly on Santa Monica. And we have the ability to do that because the contractor has proposed and accepted the fact that the street should have a cutout in it, and also that he has requested variances from the city. So it's more or less a quid pro quo that we should get these cutouts. And everywhere the cutouts have been put in, the MTA has taken advantage of them. And so we see no problem at all in getting this actually utilized. There is space to do this. There's over 100 feet that we can use for the bus. We don't want really a bus cutout that big, but it's big enough even for the rapid buses. So that means that it's going to be an excellent solution to this traffic safety problem that we have in our neighborhood. And I thank the council member greatly for proposing this amendment.
Thank you very much, Mr. McQuiston. Gwendy Silver Ignater is here as well from Hollywood Community Housing Corporation.
Good morning, honored members of City Council. My name is Gwendy Silver-Agnator, and I'm representing the Hollywood Community Housing Corporation, who's proposing to build 58 affordable housing units at the proposed site. We support this motion, and we support the amendment as Councilmember and President Garcetti has put forth. Thank you very much for your consideration.
Thank you. Let's open the roll on this item, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
That is approved. Next item, please.
Item 38 was called special for a card from the public.
Okay, Matt Dowd is our first speaker. Oh, that's actually on item 39, which I think passed, so we should probably reconsider. I think it was misfiled, so let's vote on 38 first. We have no speaker card on that. We'll close the public comment. Please open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
And if there's no objection, I will ask us to reconsider item 39, if we can open the roll on reconsideration. Close the roll and tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
That is now before us, item number 39. Excuse me, Mr. Dowd. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Matthew Dowd, Channel 35, your channel, LA City View. This is a dog and pony event we're paying for. It's only $700 though, so we don't mind these. The celebration of life in all its forms. I'm in favor of this one. St. John the Baptist, obviously some council members must be showing up because we're paying the insurance and we don't normally pay that. Thank you.
Thank you. Please open the roll on that item, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Okay. Next item, please.
Item 42 is called special for a card from the public.
Matt Dowd, we have on item 42. Mr. Dowd?
That's not my card.
Okay. We'll close the public comment on that.
Name on the card?
And we will, would you like to speak, Mr. Dowd?
What's the name on the card?
All right, we'll open the roll,
You do.
close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
Wait.
14 ayes.
That is approved. Next item, please.
Item 44 was called special for a card from the public.
Okay. Mr. Dowd, we have your card here. If you'd like to speak on item 44, this is now the time on 44.
Please read the name on the card because I put in a couple of cards.
Mr. Dowd, this is your time for public comment. This
Now
is
we're
not a
messing up.
discussion.
Mr. City Attorney,
Okay.
the orderly process of the meeting is getting wrecked.
We'll
Because
close
he's not calling the name
please
on the
turn
card.
the microphone off. If you cannot discuss this item, please discuss this item. Mr. Dowd, you have a card before us. If not, going once, going twice. Would you like to discuss it?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'll
thank you.
address the item, but that's on the record. We'll address that particular issue later. See, there's a point for that, and that's what the Veterans Remembrance Day is all about. Why are we fighting wars overseas? To keep the United States of America, not Los Angeles City by itself, a rule unto itself, thinks it can make any kind of rules it wants. But now let's get some of these vets and see what they think about people's right to express their political views. I'm all in favor of this event. Tom LaBonge for mayor, great work, and hopefully we can get Janice in on the ticket as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's open the roll on this item, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
That is approved. Next item, please.
Item 46 was called special for a card from the public.
Okay. Matt Dowd, we have a card in for this as well. Would you like to speak on item 46? Okay. If not, there's one card on this. It's Mr. Dowd's. Going once,
No, that's Mr.
going
Hunt's
twice.
card.
Okay. If you'd like to speak, would you please fill out a card, Mr. Hunt? There's no card that says Michael Hunt. Would you like to speak going once, going twice? Speak on this if you'd like to, Mr. Hunt, and please speak to the matter before us. You've been warned today. This is a Thanksgiving Day celebration.
Well, we have no orderly conduct of the meeting, but I'll still talk about Thanksgiving and what it really meant as Thanksgiving, you know, as what they celebrate is not nothing that they celebrate here in the chambers, because Thanksgiving was a time that the Pilgrims, am I on track? The Pilgrims of I guess the United States, said, this is a happy time, but it's not a happy time when you can't follow the orderly conduct of the meeting.
Mr. President, he appears off track. This is a special event motion for the Midnight Mission for a
Yeah.
Thanksgiving Day celebration.
The mission on Thanksgiving, correct? If it's Thanksgiving, the Pilgrims, right? That was what the whole country was founded on, right?
So
Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Wait, am I not correct, Mr.
Sir, I will
Dion?
warn you again, this is not a dialogue with any of us. This public comment under
Well,
state
he's-
law is
well,
a chance for us to
he
hear
said
from
I
you.
was out of conduct.
Sir, period. Do you have anything else to say on this one? If not, we'll move on.
Yeah, Thanksgiving.
Okay, thank you. That closes public comment. If we can please open the roll on this item, close the roll and tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
All right, next item, please.
Item 47 was called special for a card from the public.
Matt Dowd. This item, please.
Yeah, this is one, and there's a reason why we have the names on the cards, because we're trying to expose that your president here is trying to second guess who the public speaker is, instead of just calling the name on the card. There's two of us.
Sir, item 47 has your name on it right here. We have that
Yeah,
on the
this
record.
one
Please
does.
continue.
This one, see, that's the whole point. Thanks for confirming it. Now, I thought this wasn't a dialogue. Please let me have my public comment. No, it's okay. Thank you, sir. October 28th, my favorite day of the year, this Saturday. I've mentioned it once or twice probably, so I probably don't need to mention it, but if you're just tuning in, and Tommy Gruel is way past your bedtime if you're still up watching this. This is
Sir,
not a family show.
Please address this. That'll be your final warning today. Please address what the topic is right before us.
Thank you. The Harvest Festival, 4th Annual Harvest Festival. Ebenezer Baptist Church, I don't know what they're harvesting. I hope it's not medical marijuana, even though being on October 28, so I'll just quickly mention one more time that this is a special event, Perry Rosendahl, the 4th Annual Harvest Festival. This Saturday, there's a lot of big things going on in the city too. Cal Cup Day, Santa Anita.
Thank you. That finishes public comment. If we can open the roll on this item, close the roll and tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Okay, I'd like to ask the next item to come forward. If we can take the next three together, please, 49, 50, and 53. And we have cards from Matt Dowd on all three of them. If you'd like to come forward, Mr. Dowd.
Once again, I do not have card on 50, so let's get this right. Just call them one at a time and just call the name on the card.
Please.
That's your general public comment. That is closed then. We will open the roll on this item. These three items, close the roll and tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
And those items are approved. Next order of business. Sir, sit down. Sir, sit down. If you can't keep order, I would ask for these gentlemen to please move to the chambers. Will you please remove them from chambers? Thank you. Any next order of business, please?
Mr. President, items 51, 52, and 53 were called special by Councilmember Parks.
All right. Mr. Parks, on 52, 51, 52, and 53 together. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. We have a substitute motion on those. First of all, just like to ask for the public support in that on July 13, 2006, we had a double a homicide and a serious injury at 2300 block of West 54th Street, and we're asking public help to call Detective Roger Guzman and Joshua Kiss at 213-485-1383 with a homicide and attempt homicide, and that's a $75,000 reward. Also on item 52 is an attempt murder on July 11, 2006 of an off-duty Redondo Beach police officer, Delvin Dillery, who was making a purchase at a local restaurant and was accosted and seriously injured, and that's Detective Roger Guzman and Joshua Chris, again at 213-485-1383. And finally, we had a homicide of a young lady, April of this year, 2006, Taja Jones, who was found on April 20th, 2006, and this is in Southwest Division. She was located in the 5800 block of Jefferson in her vehicle, and we asked public support Southwest Homicide at 485-2710. On these three renewals of rewards, we ask for public help in locating those suspects.
Thank you very much. If nobody else wishes to be heard, let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
That is approved. Mr. City Attorney?
And for the record, while Mr. Dowd was being removed, Mr. Hunt also was removed.
Thank you for that. All right. Any other items before we go into closed session? Mr. Clerk?
Mr. President, that does leave the closed session items.
All right. Well, in accordance with California state law, we will now go into closed session to discuss legal matters before the City Council. If there's any items that require public notification as well, we will make sure that we do that in open session, or anything requiring a public vote as soon as we are done with closed session. Thank you all, and we'll see you soon.
Mr. City Attorney, are we back in legal session at this time?
Yes, we are.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, what do we have before us?
Mr. President, on item 55, there's a recommendation for settlement in the amount of $326,400 in the case of Budwig versus City.
Okay. We want to open the roll on that, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
10 ayes. Mr. City Attorney?
And for the record, in closed session, the vote was 12-0 with council members Padilla, Perry, and Garcetti being absent.
Very well. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Item 57, there's a recommendation for settlement in the amount of $345,650 in the case of City versus Bruce G. Davis.
Okay. Let's open the roll, Madam Clerk. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes. I'm sorry, 10 ayes.
10 ayes. Mr. City Attorney, do you make a stipulation on that as well?
No, the vote was consistent on that one.
Very well. Thank you. Next item.
Council has motions for posting and referral.
So ordered.
There are excuses on the desk. Councilmember Smith requests to be excused December 12th, 13th, and 15th for city business. That meets council policy.
So ordered.
Councilmember Hahn requests to be excused Tuesday, October 31st, and Wednesday, November 8th, both for city business, and that also meets council policy.
I don't know. So ordered.
That clears the desk.
Okay, members, is there any announcement at this time? Announcements at this time? Member Mr. Rosendahl?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. The Homeless Ad Hoc Committee is meeting Thursday at Westminster School in Venice. We expect all the providers in the area to talk about the homeless issue and the community. So we welcome people to show up at 6 o'clock tomorrow night at the Westminster School on Homelessness. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Rosendahl. Any other messages, announcements? Mr. Parks?
I have several announcements. One, the Alliance for Equal Opportunity Education, which includes the Karen Bass, Merv Dimely, also the First AME Church, West Angeles Church will be holding a meeting at First AME 2270 Harvard, and that's going to be on Thursday, October the 26th at 6 p.m. To discuss this important issue. Also, a community discussion will be held at the Freud Playhouse in UCLA on Thursday, October 26th at 7:30 to have a discussion on education and civil rights and highlight the Arkansas case from 1957. Also, Bill Cosby will be a speaker at the Maranatha Church on October 28th at 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on a seminar dealing with African Americans and educational and civil rights agenda, and he will be their prime speaker and only speaker on that subject. And then also The Partnership Walk 2006 will be at the Coliseum Sunday, October 29th, 10 a.m., in which brings together individuals, families, and friends united for the common goal to reduce poverty. And any information, 310-202-9430.
Thank you, Mr. Parks. Mr. Zine for announcements.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Tonight at from 6 to 8 at Canoga Park High School at 6850 Topanga Canyon, there's going to be a gang awareness summit. There's been an increase in gang violence in the San Fernando Valley, and the police department, my office, putting together with the different groups of the San Fernando Valley ways to combat this growing situation. So it's tonight at Canoga Park High School, 6850 Topanga and Van Owen with the police department. If you're interested in trying to help curtail the gang problems in the valley, please attend tonight, Canoga Park High, 6 to 8. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. Rosendahl.
6 to 9 tonight at the Proud Bird over near LAX will be a hearing on LAX and its plans. It'll also be on Saturday morning again at the same location at 9 o'clock. So anybody catching this, please tonight show up at the Proud Bird near the airport. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rosendahl. Any other announcements? Members, could we stand for adjourning motions? Ms. Hahn.
Thank you, Mr. President. This very sad to ask that we adjourn our meeting today in memory of Angel Sembrano, Sr., who was a great labor leader in Los Angeles. He was born and raised in San Pedro and just recently passed away. It was very shocking to all of us. He has a great background. In the 60s, Angel was the owner and operator of Angel's Bar on 20th and Pacific in San Pedro. And then in 1973, he joined the laborers Local 802 and worked as a laborer in the South Bay. In 1985, he was appointed president of Local 802, and in 1995, he became the secretary-treasurer, where he remained until his death. I have worked so closely with Angel and the laborers in the harbor area. Some of the things that we accomplished together, we worked to make sure that labor was included in some of our bigger city construction projects, like our new animal shelter, the fire station in San Pedro. We successfully fought to implement a project labor agreement for the construction of our new harbor area police station. And certainly when Angel or the laborers or any other union was not included in some of our construction projects in the harbor area, they would bring out the big black rat, and it would sit outside the construction. But he was always willing to sit down at the table and try to work out a solution that included making union labor a part of our facilities construction projects. He's survived by his wife of 41 years, Rose Marie, 3 children, Angel Jr., Andrea, and Anthony, and 7 grandchildren. The viewing will be this Monday, October 30th, 1 to 7 p.m. The rosary will be at 7 at McNerney's Mortuary, and the funeral mass will be Tuesday, October 31st at 10:30 a.m. at the Mary Star of the Sea Church in San Pedro, which is why I asked to be excused that day. I will be attending that funeral. He was a great man, a great family man, and he always stood up for the rights of the laborers in the harbor area, and we'll miss Angel very much.
Thank you, Ms. Hahn. Mr. Parks.
This is offered in behalf of Mrs. Perry. And Mrs. Queen Iverson passed away October 20th, 2006. She's the mother of Dr. Aaron Iverson, pastor of Paradise Baptist Church. She's lived a long and dedicated life to her family and the community. Her services will be held Thursday, October 26th, 7 p.m., Paradise Baptist Church, 5100 South Broadway.
Thank you, Mr. Parks. Members, I mentioned yesterday the tragedy at Hollywood High School. A young student, Monique Lee, who was going to school, 10th grader, an ESL student, member of the band, was tragically, fatally killed at a horrible accident where someone ran a red light. We ask you adjourn in memory of Monique Lee. Also, members, we stand Down on Friday, this council will not meet. We will have the services for Los Angeles Police Officer Doris Landon, Northeast officer tragically killed in a vehicle accident in the Northeast area. The services will be 9:30 a.m. at the Cathedral Our Lady of the Angels on Friday. Mr. Clerk, call the roll. Thank you. This meeting is adjourned.